Ladies and gentlemen, we have a surprise guest coming up to take you even deeper before we have a little bit of a discussion right here on stage. And Lars Kroll is a security strategist and has been for 12 years at Symantec. Now, besides security, he's interested in football, being from Dortmund. So I hope there's a balance for you guys also to get excited not only by data and by security, but also by a more general topic. Now, with that being said, he's going to talk to us today about integrated defense and how to react fast to threats. So please welcome to the stage, Lars Kroll. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Hi, nice to meet you. So I was joining southern France with my wife for 3 weeks. I was spending my vacation at Côte d'Azur and returned on Monday, so yesterday. And yesterday I thought, well, okay, the CEBIT is kick-starting again, right? So my first CEBIT was 1999, round about that. And I was thinking, okay, I should travel to CEBIT to have a lazy day, to meet some cool guys, right? To have some good conversations. And I was booking my ticket, booking my travel here to Hanover, and then I received a call. And Morris, one of my folks in the company, asked me, well, okay, Lars, there's an open slot on the center stage. Would you like to join just to talk about security strategy? I was thinking, well, okay, yes, absolutely. And so I arrived here 45 minutes ago, and I was thinking, well, oh man, that's huge, right? That's huge. A lot of good conversations possible, and that's the reason why I'm here standing. My name is Lars Kroll from Symantec. So I want to talk about failure. I want to talk about failure because all the companies here in that hall who do something with security did fail a little bit in the last 10 to 20 years, because integrated cyber defense is still not very well known in a lot of companies. So I'm working for Symantec for 12 years now, and I'm meeting folks from totally different customers and organizations, from government customers to large DAX companies, so the top 30 companies that we have in Germany, to European medium-sized companies, from hidden champions to global players. And you know what? If you don't have an integrated cyber defense platform in your organization, don't feel sad, because most of the large organizations don't have either. Okay? So let's talk about failure. Let's talk about how this issue could be solved. So we asked some customers, and we were really asking, well, okay, what do you expect from one of the world-leading cybersecurity companies, which Symantec is, right? We do 5 billion revenue. We are we are the largest cybersecurity company. So we are asking the customers, hey, guys, we spend around about $900 million per year in research and development. What do you expect from Symantec? And so the answers were very crispy and clear. Products should be integrated. That sounds basic, right? Sounds that we should all have integrated products since 5 or 10 years, but that's not the case. Products should be interoperate across control points. So control point is, let's say, an endpoint, a MacBook maybe, or an email gateway, or some technology that you might have in your cloud infrastructures. If this is private or public cloud, that's not important. So products should interoperate. And product actions should be easy to integrate. So we all heard about actionable IT security, but that's not so easy, right? The guys who works in security operations here, who's dealing with CM systems and security solutions? Quite a lot, right? It is not so easy, because if you start in the office on a Tuesday or on a Monday morning, you receive a lot of alerts. you receive a lot of reports, and it's always a challenge to handle that and to trigger some actions to solve the problems. The next one, I like it very much because I'm dealing with our threat intelligence capabilities as well. I want to match my threat intelligence in my company with the things maybe Symantec or IBM or digital whatever is delivering, to really get the essence, the things, the topics that are important for me, not just getting the stuff that is important for Symantec or for F-Secure or for Cisco, but to find out what is really important for me as a SecOps guy sitting there on a Monday morning. And the last one, it is a big challenge because every security vendor is storing log files and reports in a slightly different way. So if you have solutions from Symantec, from McAfee, maybe from Sophos, then it's not so easy to bring this data together. And so if you want to do so, you are struggling in most cases. So that was the kind of customer call. Please, Symantec, do solve that. And I will not just talk about our approach, I will talk about some common approaches as well that you can use. So why is cybersecurity so demanding? Why is it so demanding? One of the easy answers is you have to do a lot of different things at the same time, right? You have to care about forensics and recordings, you have to care about the Internet of Things, you have to care about network security, you have to do, let's say, data loss prevention or other stuff that your bosses are asking you for. And you can do this with a lot of vendors. That's just an example to show you, well, how many vendors you have to handle, how many products you have to handle. And I'm not talking about different versions and different operating systems, okay? So that's one of the big challenges that we see to really make sure that you get back into control while you have to maintain a lot of point solutions. That's one of the challenges. And if you think about your cloud infrastructures, it's getting worse, right? This is just an example I put here on the slide to think about, okay, if I want to protect my cloud infrastructures, I should maybe do some proxy things, I should do some CASB, so cloud access security brokerage things. I maybe want to do some email security, maybe that's the easiest part. But if you pick point solutions, you will end up in a big mess because these point solutions in cloud environments do not really fit together. And if you have to troubleshoot such kind of infrastructure, you have to ask yourself, well, okay, who owns that, right? Who's delivering what kind of security or service level agreements? Do I have a single pane of glass to control all that stuff that is working here in the cloud infrastructure? And in most companies, in most organizations, the answer is still no, okay? And that's the kind of challenge because that is not just messing your week, it's messing your month, it's messing your next 10 years if you don't do these steps right. So enough talk about the challenges and about the failure of the industry to really solve that problems. Let's dig a little bit deeper how this kind of challenge could be solved. So delivering protection in the cloud generation for us as a cloud-first company means you have to connect the dots. You have to connect the different control points. And I'm not talking about products in here, right? We want to learn something. This is not a product pitch. You have to connect the dots. Let's start from the downside there. You have to connect the dots from all your cloud apps. By the way, we've asked some CIOs in Europe, how many cloud apps do you use with your employees? How many cloud apps are being used in your infrastructure? And the most answer is about 25 to 35. So this is a well-known answer from CIOs within Europe. The only issue with that is we have technology to really find out what's going on, okay? And after we asked the CIOs, we went to the, after we asked the CIOs how many cloud apps are being used, we put in some monitoring technology to find out how many cloud apps are there really. And the answer was from 800 to 900. So there's a big gap between what your senior management knows and what is really being used in your infrastructure. Anything I can do to optimize the microphone? Have some more distance or what? Just let me know. So the cloud apps, the cloud app challenge just starts with finding out what is being used in your infrastructure. We can help you with that and our partners can do, right? 25, 900, that's a nice difference. You have to involve email because, as Mikko Hyppien, for example, mentioned, most of these sophisticated attacks that we've seen in the last years still rely on email attack vector. So email attacks and attacks that are sent by email in your infrastructure work very well. And so we will change the microphone. But I just continue to tell you that email is a threat vector you should care of, okay? You have to rethink email in terms of artificial intelligence and some more things. You can provide me a hand microphone if you want to, just make it easier for you guys. You have to care about proxy, and of course you have to care about endpoint. Think about all these mobile devices that you should care of. So there are some different options now to handle these kind of challenge, okay? You can think about, well, okay, I connect these different control points with APIs. So with computer interfaces that these technologies can speak with each other. But this does not scale. This does not scale because you have to maintain a lot of APIs, and that's the kind of struggle. You don't want to do that. But you can do to be very fast. So there might be some security products in your infrastructure that are also ready to being connected with other control points via API. But of course, we can deliver you that kind of solution. So for example, if you just connect, let's talk about basic things. If you just connect the endpoint and the proxy, you will achieve some really great results. So I'm not talking about theory in here, I'm just talking about... So I don't want to talk about the theory, right? The stuff that you are using from whatever vendor in your infrastructure might have some APIs to connect different things with each other. So web protection and endpoint protection, if you have any chance to connect that, please do so. Because if the proxy, for example, recognizes some malicious code floating to an endpoint, it can identify these malicious code, it can maybe sandbox it, and can block it for all the other endpoints. You've seen a lot of attacks where a lot of malicious files went to a lot of endpoints. Think about Petya or not Petya. If you are able to stop that on the network level, that would be really a pleasure to not maintain, let's say, 20 or 30 endpoints, but just one. So this is a big plus. Next one is, if you combine data loss prevention with proxy or network filters, this might be a great benefit for you, because just using these APIs, we will talk about how to make this even better, or even more advanced. That's a kind of really benefit to your work. And the last example in here, if you combine proxy, email, and web isolation, that might be a new term for you, but isolating web traffic is one of the top things we should care about, and we are caring about that since around about a year, to really make it possible to not send active HTML code to the endpoints anymore. okay? Because all these mining attacks and browser-based attacks, you can stop them from 1 second to another, just sandbox all the web traffic at the gateway to protect your endpoints. If then a malicious file would detonate in your sandbox, yeah, you really don't care. Instead of setting up 100 or 1,000 new endpoints, you just see that result in your sandbox. Okay, but this is still API integration, okay? This is state of business. This is available since a couple of years. Let's talk about the next level. Because API-based integration just means one-to-one integrations. And if you have not just one technology, let's say 100, it gets a mess. It gets a mess because you have so many integrations, you will not have fun with that kind of strategy. And that's the reason why we were thinking about integration fabric. So codified integration model to really deliver a cyber defense platform that is open for third party. And this is called, in the semantic language, and you are one of the first guys hearing about that because we are at CEBIT, Integrated Cyber Defense Exchange. Yes, that's another term we have to care about, but this is really a game changer because Integrated Cyber Defense Exchange, or ICDX, means this is an open interface, not just to Symantec solutions, but to all other third-party solutions, and I will talk about our partners in a minute. It is not just delivering information, it structures and it unifies telemetry. So it makes it easier for you because you will not just use solutions from Symantec, right? You should do, but you are not. So it is more easy for security operations, for security analytics, to find out, okay, what's going on in my infrastructure, to really fuel, for example, my incident response troops with some better information if they are flying on site to maybe handling some troubles. And it is a long-term correlation of event and telemetry data. But this is just the information part. It's not just about information, but it's about actions as well. Because actions, in terms of, let's say, incident response or remediation actions, they should be part of your strategy. It's not just, maybe your bosses are just asking you today, okay, provide me some dashboards, do some event correlation, but that's just the first step. If you deliver that, they will ask you to provide some actionable reports and intelligence somehow maybe half a year later. So that's the kind of thing we are providing here with ICDX. So next topic. What is ICDX? ICDX is a standalone lightweight platform gateway that is unifying product actions. If these product actions are from our solutions or from other leading providers, we don't care. If you decide to be on a two or multi-vendor strategy, that might be not very efficient, but we don't care, so we allow you to be flexible. You want to exchange one product with another, maybe to protect your cloud environment? Hey, we are happy to support you with that, because for ICDX, this is possible. It is collecting and publishing threat intelligence, because it has access to our Symantec threat intelligence that we are collecting together with our 385,000 companies that we are protecting on a global level. So if some law enforcement agencies on a global level want to catch some bad guys, guess which company they ask for information? Because we are kind of Google for threat information and for malicious code information in these days. And it interfaces not just with third-party products, but it interfaces with managed service providers. So if you're working, let's say, with ServiceNow, there is a connection between our solutions with ICDX with ServiceNow to have a good integration with your managed security service providers. Of course, you can pick our security services, right? But we know that there are a lot of MSSPs out there that we want to connect. And there's one big difference, because with ICDX, we are really able to provide technology services in the future. What does that mean? It does mean that if you combine all these control points from cloud apps up to the endpoint, then you are able to do things better than in the past. This is not just against malicious code. This is about, let's say, caring about intellectual property as well. So if you do that, you do things like, of course, advanced threat prevention. You do information protection. Think about, yeah, it's the buzzword, it is, but it is GDPR, right? DSGVO, to protect information. With ICDX, you can really fuel that kind of initiatives that are in your organization anyway. Compliance enforcement, for example. You don't have to be a financial services provider to care about compliance enforcement, right? It's also possible to do that with our modules and with ICDX. And of course, data analytics. To do analytics with your security-related data will be a big priority of the next years. Believe me or not, that's very important. If you have a foundation that is correlating this information, that is filtering this information, that you don't have to upload all the stuff in your Splunk environment, but just 50%, your boss and your controllers, your finance controllers will love you because you're saving them money. And of course, encrypted traffic management is a part of that story as well. So that's the one that we are delivering, an integrated cyber defense platform that is connecting all the dots. If these are products from Symantec or from other vendors, this is all possible. And if you think about that in the next stage, hey, well, okay, what's next, right? If I do this, what is next? Think about this one here. I know this is a busy slide, but if you think about integrating all your workflows, your data in a SOC Workbench, maybe most of you will also have a security operations center, but if you don't have that, this will be one of the challenges for the future. And the integration bus, ICDX, could be the foundation of your SOC Workbench, connecting that with our intelligence sources and bringing all the stuff together that you already have. If you then need support with incident response, for example, maybe for your branches in the United States or in Singapore or in Russia, wherever you have branches, incident response is a very important topic. And if you need some additional services to that, like incident response or 24/7 monitoring, we are happy to support you with that. So, 2 minutes left, just to let you know the integrations that we are ready with for this summer. It's the integration for Curator, for Splunk, Bay Dynamics, I don't name that all. ServiceNow, from my point of view, is very important. And all the threat intelligence piece here with ThreatQ and Anomaly. So this is not a concept. This is not a roadmap. This is here today. And just to give you a more busy slide, these are the partners that we are working with. We have 178 integrations so far with 94 technology partners. This makes us think that we did a good job in integrating things to be open for third-party integrations, and that makes us think that we have solved these kinds of customer requests that we got, okay? So that's the reason why I marked this one in green, just to let you know, okay, we are hearing you, we are thinking with you how to be the security provider of the future. And that's the reason I want to talk, while just returning yesterday from my vacation from southern France, to talk with you about ICDX, to give you a perspective, a vision, how integrated cyber defense can look like. And just 12 seconds left. I just give you my details. If you have any questions, we are at the Heise security booth over there on the right-hand side from my perspective. And it was a pleasure to spend 20 minutes with you. Have a wonderful day, and I'm open for questions. Thank you.
Lars, thank you. Thanks a lot.